An Afghan man went yesterday, and I'm going to show you how many front pages it made this morning. Wayne Broadhurst, a lovely old man that was just out walking his dog, got in the streets over and over. You may not have heard about it, but I'm going to make sure that you do, because the media clearly don't want us talking about it, or worried about it, or thinking it's a problem. A nice street like yours, like mine in Uxbridge, fucking 45 minutes from my house. This geezer over and over again, try to 14-year-old boy and then try to someone else. Let's have a little look at the front pages in the UK today. See their outrage, see how they feel about it, see if they mirror our anger. The Daily Express, old age pensioners and the budget. The iPaper, the storm in Jamaica. The Daily Mirror, the storm in Jamaica. The Daily Star, a story about fucking lettuce. The Independent, the storm in Jamaica. The Daily Telegraph, councils urge to go for 4-day weeks. The Metro, the storm in Jamaica. The Sun, something on horse racing. What's actually causing divide in this country is British people of all colours, races and religions no longer feeling safe because of this shit that happens. These politicians wouldn't let these strangers in their house, would they? They got no idea of their background. Some of these people are from places that we destroyed with bombs. Some of these people probably lost family from conflicts that we've been involved in. These are places that these politicians wouldn't take their kids on holiday. So why is it okay to put them in our communities without checking who they are? Why isn't Wayne a turning point, or is this just day-to-day life for us now? Are we becoming that desensitized to it that the papers and the government just no longer give a fuck about it, just hide it or just move on? Listen to this. The police put out a post condemning people sharing the video, not the and then if you don't hate BBC enough, this is what they went for. Dog walker in triple as arrest, mate. If you didn't have social media or me telling you about this now and you saw that, you'd think there was some turf war going on with dog walkers. Next up, Gary Neville will do a video about how it's people like me getting annoyed with the slaughtering that's causing divide, apart from the people doing it. You'll still have Jeremy Corbyn and Zach Polinsky, the tit whisperer, and all the other left-wing nutjobs calling for open borders and trying to convince us that it's millionaires dog walkers need to worry about on the street. Then you'll see David Lammy laughing about it in Parliament in a minute. But don't worry, the government are doing everything they can to keep us safe. They cancelled the Remembrance Parade for health and safety reasons. Make it make sense. Next up, politicians copy and pasting a tweet saying their thoughts and prayers are with the victims of this brutal attack. Can't wait. You
Daniel O'Reilly's monologue is a raw example of populist outrage, an emotional outburst that channels public anger toward the media and political elites. Rather than simply reporting the murder of Wayne Broadhurst, O'Reilly turns it into a symbol of Britain's moral and social collapse. His language is furious, fast, and filled with expletives, designed to shock, to wake people up. He accuses the media of ignoring the story, politicians of hypocrisy, and the BBC of twisting the facts. The core of his message is built around a clear us versus them divide. Ordinary British people versus an elite establishment that protects outsiders and hides the truth. Beneath the anger lies fear. Beneath the anger lies fear. A belief that violence has become normal and institutions no longer protect citizens. O'Reilly's speech is both a cry of frustration and a political weapon, blending grief with anti-immigration populism that resonates deeply with a disillusioned public.
It's an atrocious mess. Yes. The report that has exposed this is a parliamentary inquiry, and bluntly, it's based on the Tory record when they were in government from 2019, when they let contracts, the cost of which have tripled. This government is sorting out the mess. So the excess profits, the government has already started the process of reclaiming those excess profits. Contracts have been amended so that there's already £1 billion saving to the taxpayer as a result of this. One of the contractors, SBHL, has been stripped of their contract, rightly so, and that's the way we need to go forward. But underpinning that is that we need to reduce the numbers, which the government is determined to do, and I actually think the very clear commitment that's always been there to end the use of hotels during this Parliament is the right one, and the government is now accelerating that to happen within the next year. And in major part, that will happen, and I think it's a good move, of using disused military bases, if necessary, prefabricated accommodation.
Will they still be able to roam free if you put them in these accommodation?
Well, I think it depends. I think if you have failed your claim, then in my view, you should be detained forcibly.
Just to be clear, what's going on though, the people out there need to know what's going on. These companies are being bankrolled by the British state, who are using the British people's money, okay? They're using the British people's money to bankroll these companies like Serco, Clear Springs and Mears to offer more favourable contracts to illegal migrants than they're offering to the British people. In other words, the Labour government and the British state are using the people's money out there to outbid them in their own housing market. On what level is that fair? On what level is that right? On what level is that just? It's not, Bill. And the reason this is happening is because everybody in Westminster, except the Reform Party, is completely committed to maintaining not just the use of hotels, because I notice what you're doing, we're going to stop using the hotels. What you're going to do is you're going to expand the use of HMOs, houses for multiple occupancy, and you're going to keep putting these guys in the heart of communities, next to schools, next to families, next to synagogues, and you're going to say to people, well, we shut down the hotels. But no, what you're doing is you're going to increase the amount of money the state is spending by chucking all these people in HMOs and on the Ministry of Defence and State. Outrageous.
I wouldn't be in favour of increasing the use of HMOs, because I think if anything they bring even bigger problems, as they are in the midst of housing estates, than the use of hotels. The solution, and the government is setting it out clearly this week, is use of military camps, and that will bring some opposition. You know, when it's been tried in the past, there's been local opposition, but this is about practically resolving the problem, ending the use of hotels, but it's got to be accompanied by processing the claims much more quickly, removing people if your claim is not successful, and getting much greater cooperation to deport people.
Why do we even need to find accommodation, Bill? Why are they even here? Why don't we just control the borders so we don't have to do that?
Matt,
and then those homes, those houses, even maybe those rooms in the MOD estate, maybe they could go to British veterans struggling to find a home. Maybe they could go to young British professionals who have to suffer the humiliation of watching social housing go to people who are not even British while they are living in the outskirts, having to commute into our major cities. Lots of things could be solved.
Matt, because you know that British people would not want to live in military bases. They would not want to live in hotels. They want access to decent social housing. And you know as well that in virtually every local authority in the country, local residents get priority access over income.
Do you know why you're on 17% of the vote this week? The lowest ever share of support for Labour in polling history in YouGov, 17%, because of stuff like this. Because people are not stupid. They can see this Labour government is putting outsiders, illegal migrants, criminals ahead of our own people.
And you know, Matt, you're only on 27% of the vote, and we saw in the Philly by-election that faced with a fundamental choice, there will be mass tactical voting at the next general election.
Sorry, just as a reminder, your party was completely wiped out in Caerphilly in an area that Labour has dominated for a century.
And I don't welcome that, and I think it was a very, very bad result.
Get used to it.
But if you are crowing as a result of that,
nobody's crowing,
reality,
Bill.
Well, you are, Matt.
No.
And
everyone is
there's an article on the GB News website talking about the fact that so many people are opposed to reform, they will tactically vote to stop you winning the general election.
We shall see. Time will tell. But a Serco spokesperson said Serco is